are some things that have changed, but not too many. The recording will be on YouTube, so you guys will have all this on YouTube. Let me go ahead and share my screen. One of the things I love about doing these trainings every year is I get a lot of feedback in the comments on YouTube. And people just kind of like, oh, well, what about this? And what about this? So I try to like go through those comments and add that information into this new training. So that's what I'm gonna be doing tonight. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get started without further ado. I'm gonna take the next slide to talk about my story. My story is pretty long, so I try not to like go all deep into it. I try to really just get to the meat and the potatoes. I'm gonna just play a 3-minute video that's on my YouTube. It just gives a background about who I am, how I got into real estate, and all that little fun stuff. And then we'll jump into the meat and the potatoes, okay? Just so you know who you're learning from. What's up, you guys? My name is Miss Derby, aka the Land Queen. Would you believe that just a few years ago, I was teaching in the school system, living paycheck to paycheck, to now creating a strategy where I supply vacant land to home builders. I run $1 million business now. It wasn't always that easy. Back in 2015, I worked in the school system teaching students that had behavioral and special needs. I enjoyed the time I had with my students, but it really took a toll on me emotionally and mentally. I wasn't happy and I knew something had to change. However, the teacher in me felt really guilty because I was letting my students down. I knew that I had to bet on myself and make a change. When I quit my job back in 2018, I had no idea what I was going to do to make ends meet. I was serving, flipping furniture, until one day I discovered the concept of wholesaling real estate. I was super intrigued and starting to dive into the concept, learning from different gurus, soaking up all there is to know about wholesaling. I started closing deals here and there, but the day-to-day practices of wholesaling houses really took a toll on me. I hated walking through those nasty properties, trying to figure out what the comps were, what ARV was. I didn't even know what ARV meant. I even at one point got hospitalized because I got attacked by fleas at a property. From there, I knew there had to be an easier way to wholesale. At that point in my journey, I had already wholesaled a few land deals, and I realized that wholesaling land was a lot easier than wholesaling houses. It was a lot easier comps, I didn't have to calculate the repairs, and it was 100% virtual. So naturally, I shifted my focus to land and worked really hard to find more land deals. In May of 2020, at the height of the pandemic, I was able to close a land deal for $103,000. And yes, even though that deal changed my life completely, the teacher in me wasn't fulfilled because I knew my land strategy had the power to impact so many lives. This is how the Land Queen was born. I created a unique land strategy that consistently allowed me to have 6-figure months. I began to teach others to do the same. From those struggling to wholesale houses, like I was, all my friends, family, and everyday people looking for a way to financial freedom. In just a few short years, I was able to retire my dad from his 9-to-5 and scale my business to 7 figures. When I quit my job back in 2018, I would have never expected my life to take this course. And although I left the school system, I'm grateful that my impact goes beyond the classroom. Okay, so now you guys got a little glimpse of who I am, my background, and how I got into real estate. I'm going to dive in a little bit more to, the success and the students that I've been able to impact in my journey. I've literally coached thousands of people. If you guys don't know who Tony the Closer is, I worked alongside Tony for almost a year, I want to say a couple years ago. And so with his platform and his following, I was able to teach a lot more than who I was just able to touch on my own. So here are just some success stories of students who are really taking the wholesaling land process and just going above and beyond. So if you guys know Elijah Bryant, he was one of my students. He's now doing 7 figures in this business and is now coaching and teaching others how to wholesale land. And then you have Jeff and DeAndre. They're a dynamic duo. I met them when they just got out of college. But they too are now doing 7 figures, have done hundreds and hundreds of land deals and are also coaching. And then I have my a woman by the name of Minnie. She is based out of California, but she actually just completed my land pod, my mentorship, I want to say in March of 2024. So just this March. And she's doing multiple 6 figures now and coaching. So I've had a lot of success with my students. I don't want to say like, okay, you guys are going to do the same thing and make 6 or 7 figures, but it is 100% possible. I have a lot of students who are doing that, and they're able to now supplement their income that they were making to now doing solely wholesaling land. So it is 100% possible for sure. And honestly, you can close one deal, an extra $20,000 on just one deal, and that's an extra $30,000 for you to make every year, right? An extra $30,000 a year would be great for a lot of people, right? So let's continue. And just go ahead and put a 1 in the chat if any of these resonate with you, okay? Are you looking for a way to make more income in your household? Put a 1 in the chat if that's you. Do you want to start a business that you're passionate about, but you don't have the capital to do so? Do you not like the current way that you're making money? Okay, I know a lot of people don't like their jobs right now. Do you want to gain capital to invest it back into cash flowing real estate assets? That's a big one. Some people want rentals so they can not have to depend on working every single day, right? And if you want to pay off debt, put a 1 in the chat if that's you. Or let's just say you could put a 1 in the chat if you saw me and my students making money and you're like, girl, let me see what you're doing. I'm curious to see how you're making it. Okay, put a 1 in the chat if all of this is you. All right, we got a lot of 1s. Okay, love that for you guys. I'm going to show you a strategy that's been able to help not only me, but my students make a substantial amount of money and income and revenue into their household, into their business, into their lifestyle. I always like to start off with the basics. As you guys heard in that video, I am an elementary school teacher. I have been doing that for several years and it didn't really go away. So I'm going to teach you guys very Barney style, the way of wholesaling land. I don't do all the extra fluff, motivational stuff. Like I truly am just going to be teaching you today on this call. So get your pen and papers ready if you haven't already done so. And we are going to get started. All right, so number 1, first things first, is kind of knowing the logistics and the legality of wholesaling land. Hopefully that's a word. But wholesaling land is illegal in the following states without a license. You have to have a real estate license or a wholesale license. Illinois, okay, Oklahoma, the city of Philadelphia, and then South Carolina. They all require a real estate license, okay? And that's not a hard thing to obtain. Just go get your license if you really want to be in those markets. It's really not all that, special. But if you are going to be in other markets outside of these 4 that I've listed, you are fine. You do not need a real estate license. Do I think eventually they're going to regulate that? Absolutely. Anytime soon? Probably not. Probably not within the next 5, 10 years. They're going to start making people have licenses. But by then, I hope you've made enough capital to start going on to the next venture in your life, right? So let's continue. What is wholesaling real estate? Put a 1 in the chat, actually put a 2 if you have done real estate transactions as far as being a real estate agent. You wholesaled houses, maybe you've wholesaled a piece of land on accident. You didn't realize that's what it was. How many of you guys are familiar with doing real estate transactions? Okay. Okay, we got some realtors, we got some investors, wholesalers, nice, okay. Cool. Let's talk about that for the ones who don't know what that is. Right? So wholesaling real estate is literally being the middleman. You are a middleman between a cash transaction. So what does that mean? I am going to be the wholesaler. My goal is to find as many distressed, ugly houses as possible. Have you guys ever seen those signs that say "We buy ugly houses"? Those are pretty much wholesaling companies, right? Those companies go out, find people who are desperate, need cash, need to sell their property as fast as possible without doing any realtor commissions, waiting for it to be listed. They don't got time for that. They are desperate. They're in need. Okay. I find a seller that's willing to sell their rundown property for $50,000. What I can do as a wholesaler is I can get that property under contract with an intention to purchase it, right? So once I get that property under contract for $50,000, I'm going to take that piece of paper and find a buyer or a cash buyer who's willing to purchase this property from me at a higher price than what I have it under contract for. Okay. Let's say I find a fix and flipper who's fix and flipping properties in a certain area and they are interested in it and they're like, hey, we would want it for 60,000, right? So the title company will take your contract with the seller in your contract with the buyer, because you'll have a contract with your buyer, you'll take them to the title company and the title company will cut you a check for $10,000. The difference. Okay, so 60,000 minus 50,000 is 10,000. And that's how you're able to make large quantities of money, because think about it. Real estate is the largest transaction a person typically makes in their life, right? It's gonna be the largest thing they ever purchase. So you're not gonna be talking about, $25, $50. You're talking about several thousands of dollars. So it's very common to make 15, 20, $10,000 in these deals. Okay. It's kind of like flipping shoes. You go out, you get some shoes, you wake up early, go to Foot Locker when they do a release, you get the shoes, you're the only one in line, you get 2 pairs, and then you sell them for double because that person didn't want to wait in line and do it. So you're doing all the hard lifting and the heavy work for that buyer. Okay. And they're willing to pay more for the speed and convenience of it. Does this make sense? Put a 1 in the chat if this makes sense to you. Awesome. Perfect. So you guys get it. Let's talk about my strategy and how it differs from wholesaling real estate, because when I first got into real estate, this is what I thought I had to do, right? And when I tried this, y'all, this was not easy. This was not as easy as I thought it would be. You want to know why? Because everybody and their mama was asking the sellers for all these different prices, and it was very saturated. It was overwhelming. It was having to physically go to these properties and see them. It was a lot more work than what I just told you. There's like 30,000 other steps. Okay. And if you wholesale real estate, you know exactly what I mean. So guess what I did? Being the teacher that I am, and connecting with the right people, we were able, my partner, Jared at the time, we were able to come up with a strategy called Wholesale Land 101, which we own the patent trademark to. Since 2021, we've been doing this for almost, I want to say over 6 years now. So when I tell you I do this for real, I do this for real. Okay. Now with my method, I actually flip the script. I do not go after the seller first and try to find the deal. I actually try to find the buyer first, right? I try to find the buyer first. So that's why my method is called the builder first strategy. So my builder first strategy means I reach out to all the home builders in a certain market where the need is great and my builders need land at an all-time high. And I say, hey, Mr. Builder, I see that you're buying land to build new construction. Can you please send me exactly what you're looking for and I can go out and hunt for these deals for you? And 9 times out of 10, if you approach things the right way and you do what you need to be doing, they will say, absolutely, here is my buying criteria. This is exactly what I need. Here's my prices. This is where I'm buying, how much I'm paying, and all the details, right? Once I get that buying criteria from that builder, I then go out and hunt for deals for that builder. Okay. So if my builder says, Derby, I'm paying $60,000 for lots right now in Tampa, Florida, I'm going to go out and find all the people who own land in Tampa, okay, make offers to them for less than what my builder is paying. And by doing that, I can then find a motivated seller at a higher rate. And then remember, it's just land. So there's not a lot of things I have to do at that point, right? I don't have to go see the property. I don't have to do any of that. Once they agree to that number and it checks out and it looks good to my builder, which I'll show you how to underwrite in a second, that is when I bring it to my builder and say, hey, do you want this for 60? And they'll say, yeah, that's what we're paying. Title will cut me a check for $10,000. Right? Does this make sense? Put a 2 in the chat if this makes sense to you. Okay, I flip the script. That's literally all I'm doing. I will talk about the numbers towards the end with my KPIs. Okay, let's continue. So let's talk about why I focus on land. I kind of gave you a little glimpse already, but there are some key factors as far as why I love land so much. That's why they call me the land queen. Like literally, it's tatted on my body. Love it. Love land, own land, buy as much as I can get. So let's talk about why do I focus on land. Number one, oh, I think it's out of order. Yeah. Okay, it's fine. Number one, there's no calculating ARV. So for those who are familiar with wholesaling houses, you know the word ARV is the biggest thing that a lot of us struggle with. So our ARV, for those who don't know, stands for after repair value. So what does that mean? Let's say I find a rundown house in the middle of a really nice neighborhood. The family abandoned it for whatever reason. But if it was repaired, the value would be 500,000. But in its current condition, it's 300,000, right? So there's an after repair value that you need to learn to calculate. And sometimes being a wholesaler who's barely in real estate as it is, it's hard to decipher what the ARV is. So with wholesaling land, you don't got to worry about it. Okay, it's thrown out the window, which I love. Number two is it is 100% virtual. Literally, I've been at home all day and we have I have 2 deals closed today. There are deals that you literally do not have to do any physical work to do. You're just connecting people together. There's no walkthroughs. It's less saturated. Everybody and their mama is doing houses, wholesaling houses. Everybody. It's like literally 10 times more saturated than wholesaling land. No one is touching land. It's extremely, extremely, unsaturated, I would say. So it is 100% virtual. I don't have to do any walkthroughs. When I was wholesaling houses, going to a property physically and meeting the owner, they would look at me and be like, all right, you don't know nothing about fixing up no roof. You don't know nothing about the ARV or the AC unit. You don't know nothing about that, right? And I didn't. So it was really intimidating going to these properties and being potentially shut down because of the way I look, because of the lack of knowledge I had. So with land, it's almost like you can mask that behind a computer. And then the third part is you can scale and automate your business a lot quicker with land. And why do I even say that? It's because truly, when it comes to wholesaling land, my builders, right? My home builders can outbuy 10 cash buyers in a market easily, right? A fix and flipper is going to fix and flip what, 5 to 10 houses a year? My home builder closed on that in his sleep yesterday. Like literally, DR Horton buys thousands and thousands of lots each month for the entire company, right? I have home builders who are like, hey, I need 500 lots before the end of this year. Just this quarter, I need 500 lots, right? So I'm able to do more volume and close more deals with this one builder than you can your one cash buyer. So really, the goal is to find the best builders that you can network with who want to constantly do transactions with you. Okay. All right, let's keep going. All right. Okay, okay, hello. Okay. New home statistics. I'm a numbers person. I like to see the logistics, the numbers, the statistics. I want to see all that. Like you can tell me all this, sell me a dream stuff, but if I don't see why this is a valuable resource to get into or a valuable opportunity for business to get into, I don't want to hear it, right? I don't know about y'all, but that's exactly how I am. So let's talk about some new home statistics because it's important to educate yourself on why land is so valuable and why you need to jump into it. Number one is we literally need 7.2 million homes to keep up with demand in the US right now. 7.2 million homes. And it could be a mix of single family apartments, it could be different units, it could be duplexes, townhomes, affordable housing. We just need property to live in, right? There's a huge crisis right now where people are not being able to afford homes. They're not able to do a lot of things. So by you networking with these different types of developers and builders out there, we're going to help fill this demand. Okay. And this actually went up by a couple million since last year, which is insane when I was looking at it. Let's keep going. Did you guys know that the land shortage is the #1 threat to home builders right now fulfilling their sales? Did you guys know that? And by how much you want to ask, right? is 87% of home builders say this is the number one threat to them, not being able to find enough land. Isn't that crazy? 87% of home builders are like, hey, we are literally needing land right now at an all-time high because if not, we're not going to be able to fulfill our sale commitments. So what does that mean for us? We are truly helping the economy out by bringing these homes to the community and the markets, right? You know, one of the best things I love about being a wholesaler is like being able to go to these markets. Like I drove through Port St. Lucie before and drove past some of the homes that, or some of the lots I've sold and seeing like the families outside and the kids playing. It's like, dang, I connected these two people together. Without me, I mean, obviously somebody else could have probably done it later on, but like without me, this family wouldn't be in this home right now, right? So we're really fulfilling a need for the people who need these homes. I get this question a lot. Well, Derby, we're gonna run out of land if you keep teaching people this. Absolutely not. Do you guys see how much land is left in the United States? There's 2.4 billion acres in the US. That's what the US is made up of. 1.9 billion of that is undeveloped. We're going to be dead and gone, dead and gone, dead and gone by the time there's not enough land. There's going to be so much inventory for us to continue helping these builders fulfill their orders and the need that's out there. Okay, let's keep going. How are you guys liking the statistics? And you guys can interact with me. I'm a big interactor, so if you have any comments, put it in the chat. I love to go through and read that. Next point, let's talk about the different kinds of land. Okay, there's two most common types of land. Let's look at the one to the left first, right? Are scattered vacant lots. Okay, scattered vacant lots are literally what it sounds like. You're driving through a neighborhood, you see a house to the left, house to the right, driving through, house to the left, house to the right. And then you see this vacant lot sitting in a neighborhood. That is a scattered lot scattered throughout neighborhoods. This is what a lot of builders like to look for. These are one of the best deals to kind of go after when you first start out because there's not a lot of work to do with these types of scattered lots. Okay. So that's one of the biggest things. So make sure you guys write that down. Scattered lots, infield lots, they're the same exact thing. Okay, that's what you want to look for. Builders who are buying scattered or infield lots. All right, let's keep going. Our second type of lot, all right, is our raw or larger tracts of land. Okay, let's say it again, our raw or like larger tracts of land. Okay, 10 plus acres, 100 acres, 90 acres. What kind of properties can I build on these types of lots? Put it in the chat. What kind of properties can I build on 10 plus acres, 80 acres of land? Tell me what kind of properties can I build on that? Subdivisions, single family homes, hotels, multifamily apartment complexes, condo developments. What else? Condos, endless. The sky's the limit. I love it. Thank you guys. Thanks, Anthony. So yes, that is true. The sky's the limit. So when you say that, what does that mean for the price point? Every single thing you guys listed in here, a builder would pay a completely different price point, right? If I'm a buyer or developer who's going to build an apartment complex to cash flow it, I'm gonna pay way more for the land as versus the builder that's going to build, subdivide it, and sell the homes singularly and get rid of them, right? And that's because buying and holding is a long-term investment. So they're going to cash flow it. With that being said, being that there's so many options with larger tracts of land, I always recommend kind of staying away from that when you first get started in land, because as a new investor or new real estate investor, it's going to be difficult to underwrite these types of deals, right? Because there's just so much variety you could do with it. If you don't know how to underwrite these types of deals or don't have the right people on your team, you're in the probability of possibly getting sued. So I don't like touching that unless you have experience. So my suggestion for anybody on this call is always try to veer towards the scattered infill lots when you first get started wholesaling land. Okay? Try to find those scattered infill lot builders, and then you can kind of transition into big boy territory, which is like entitlements and things like that, where you can make $500,000 per deal. Does that make sense? All right, let's keep going. All right, let's talk about the growing markets. This is one of my favorite things. This is more of an informative thing for everybody. I'm going to teach you guys how to look at the different markets in the US, but I'm going to go with the different statistics. So Texas, okay, right now is definitely a big, rapid growing population, and they have a really strong job market. They're huge in tech right now, especially in Dallas. They are Dallas and Texas and just markets in Texas in general. They are not really looking for those scattered infill lots. You might find a few builders doing that, but guess what? Their specialty out there in Texas is larger tracts of land, okay, where they can do tons of stuff with it. So it's just stuff to kind of think in the back of your head. Florida, high demand due to migration and a booming economy. This is a huge one. Everyone's moving down to Florida. The pricing is a little bit better. You get a lot bigger housing out here versus if you were in New York, right? But their specialty out here in Florida is scattered infill lots. Yeah, even with the flood, baby, we love them. Everybody's still moving out here. The scattered infill lots is major in Florida. Like you can do so much out here with scattered infill. This is where I'm at. California is another good market to get into. It has an ongoing housing shortage right now. You guys know there's a huge population of homeless people. Affordable housing will be the biggest thing that would help the economy out in the California market, but they're a mix. They're between larger tracts and scattered. Arizona is another great market to get into. They have a limiting housing supply, and they're also doing a mix between larger tracts and infill. I have two more. So the North Carolina market is another growing market. They are really focused on larger tracts of land. There is not that many scattered infill lots left in Charlotte. Yeah, so the disaster right now with Florida and it's not going to really affect us right now. I literally have gotten on a call with my builder Monday and they said, yeah, the hurricane came and gone. Like we still have business and we still have contracts to fulfill. So it hasn't affected us at all financially. And then the last one is Georgia. Georgia is definitely growing like crazy. I will say Georgia is a very historical area, so you're not going to find a lot of land. You're going to find a lot of teardowns. And if you do find land, it's more going to be the larger tracts and multiple acres. Okay. So with that being said, it's important to know depending on the state you're going to be in, what is the demand? Am I going to need larger tracts of land or scattered infill lots? Okay. All right, let's keep going. All right, let's talk about how to choose a strong real estate market. All right, I love to go to Zillow. Put a 1 in the chat if you are a visual learner. I don't know about you guys, but I have to see it to believe it. I like to see the numbers. I like to see all the dots, the colors. I'm a visual person. Put a 1 in the chat if that's you. Okay, a lot of visual learners. Good. All right, go ahead and drop a city or a state in the chat for me. And we'll just go and try that out. All right. Oh my gosh, you guys dropped so many. Let's do Palm Bay. Somebody put Palm Bay. Oops, I can't spell. Fun fact, Palm Bay is actually the market I made my first 7 figures in. It's a very untapped market. A lot of people are there now, obviously, but back then nobody was there. So I'm going to show you guys the filters that I use. I'm going to reset them actually. And let me go back to my slide. Take a picture of this. This is also going to be on YouTube, but just take a picture of it if you need to, or screenshot it. There's filters on Zillow that you need to apply. We like to compare the land that sold in the last 12 months versus the new construction sold in the last 12 months. Those are the 2 things I like to compare. If that number is over 800 or more each, then 9 times out of 10, that's a pretty good market. If it's under 800 and it's like at 200, 100 lots sold, 200 new construction homes sold, I'm like, no, I'm not wasting my time. Because guess what? The need is not great. right? We need to be where everybody and their mom is there. All right. So here's the filters for land. And I like to look at sold because that's guaranteed sales. I leave price and bed and bath. I leave that alone. I go to home type, deselect all, and go to lots and land, select apply. Then I go to more. And then I do sold in the last 12 months. Okay, ideally you want to do 12 months. You can do 6, whatever your heart desires, but 12 months is a sweet spot. Then I click apply. Now, Palm Bay, what do you guys see here? The results are what? Okay, a little over 1,400 lots sold in the last 12 months. Is that over 800 or more? Yeah. Okay, it's great. That's exactly what we're looking for. Let's do the new construction filter now. All right, so I'm gonna leave it at sold. Price and bed and bath, leave it alone. Home type, I'm gonna deselect all and select houses because I want to see the new construction homes that sold. Click apply. I'm gonna go to more. Year built is 2023 because that was last year. And then I'm gonna be putting in sold in the last 12 months. Okay, click apply. And as you guys can see, there's 1,500 new construction homes sold in the last 12 months, which is great. Okay, you guys see these scattered random infilled homes? Oops. And fun fact, if you go in here and click on home details, you can probably see the builder, which I see it right here. Holiday Builders built this home. So I know Holiday Builders is going to buy the land, right? Sometimes if you go to the home details, you can see how much they paid for the land too. Looks like they took it off though. Let me see. Yeah. So last year they bought this house for this land for 32,500, right? So they paid 32,500 and I got a seller 2 blocks over that's selling for 25K. You can sell it to Holiday Builders, right? You have options. So these are things that you guys definitely want to do. You want to backtrack Zillow. This is a great way to find some builders. It's a good way to see the market. DR Horton bought this one, DR Horton Realty. Okay. 9 times out of 10, these bigger builders own their own title companies and they own their own real estate companies. So they have in-house agents that are going to sell these homes in the back end. Okay. Do you guys know where to go if you can't find who the builder was? What website do I go to? If I don't know who the builder is, let's say I see this property, I'm like, who is this builder? How can I find out who built this house? Not the title company. Not PropWire you could, but give me the best option. Thank you, Anne. Anne got it. Ding, ding, ding for Anne. The property appraiser's website. Write that down. That is a #1 website that you need to make sure that you are familiar with. The property appraiser's website tells you all of the details about the property. Right? Who owned it, all the people who owned it in the past, how much they paid for it. They show you a picture of the deed, like literally everything. It's the most nosy website ever, and it's amazing. Look at Holiday Builders is just buying up everything. Okay. All right. Hopefully this helps you a little bit. Let's keep going. I'm gonna do my Florida search. I do this on every training call. I look up the entire state of Florida to just show you over 58,000 new construction homes sold in the last 12 months here in the state of Florida, which is absolutely amazing. Okay, that's like literally some states, huger states than Florida don't even do that. All right, so let's keep going here. What do you notice about the trends? This is something that you guys all need to start analyzing. This is not just a quick get money scheme. This is actual business. So you need to do research. What do you notice about the trends of the dots and where they're located in the state of Florida? Okay, good. Coastal. What else? Near the water, even though they should never be there because the hurricanes will get you, right? So by the water, what else? What do we notice besides by the water? Disney, Central Florida, the tourist attractions. Everybody's loving that area. So as long as you know Florida is a main state for retirement, which people want to be by the beach, and tourist attractions like Disney, Universal, and all the other places and Airbnb Central. That's all you need to know, right? You need to do your due diligence and know why the state is popping the way it is. Tourists and retirees, correct. Good schools. Okay, so you guys know that. All right, let's keep going. So yeah, this is your filters. Don't forget to take a picture, write this all down. And I went to Zillow.com to show you guys those filters. Let's talk about finding home builders virtually. There's so many different ways to find home builders. I have dozens and dozens of them in my course, and I break it down really, really thoroughly. But let's talk about it. What home builders are you guys familiar with? What home builders are you guys familiar with? All right, so Holiday, now Spencer Holiday. Ryan Homes, DR Horton, KB Homes, what else? How many of you guys have purchased a new construction home? Do you know who your builder is? My builder is Lennar. I mean, not Lennar, MI Homes. Pulte, Christopher Allen. Okay, you guys know your builders. Good. Toll Brothers, all that. Good job, Anne. I love that. Let's talk about the top 10 home builders right now. So the top 10, number one is always DR Horton. They've been number one for 20 plus years. They're the number one home builder in the US. They've done multiple $billion in revenue and income and profited, all that. Okay, they're a multi-billion-dollar company. They have a luxury line, they have a cheap line. Like a lot of people are familiar with their like more cheaper models. Same thing with Lennar. Lennar is number two. They're heavy on the community aspect. Okay. I've sold and made a lot of money with DR Horton. They're one of my favorite builders to work with in certain markets. And then in other markets, I can't stand them because they take 20,000 years to close. And nobody has time for that. There's Pulte Homes. There's NVR. If you guys don't know, NVR has different derivatives. Is like Ryan Homes, Heartland Homes. That's more of that NVR. I think somebody mentioned them too. Meritage Homes, KB Homes. We just had a land acquisition specialist in our 2.0 group literally an hour ago. He works for KB Homes and he gave us a bunch of his buying criteria. Taylor Morrison, Clayton Homes, Toll Brothers, and Century Communities. Okay. Tons of different home builders. These are just the top 10. Okay. Let's talk about tips for talking to home builders, right? Because remember, once you've chosen your market, it's now time to go out and find home builders in those markets to get their criteria. But you need to talk to them to do that. So how do you talk to these builders? Let's talk about how you find them first. Let's go to google.com. So I go to google.com and then somebody give me a market. Nice. Okay, Orlando. Oops. Home builders in Orlando. Okay. So once I type home builders in Orlando, I scroll down to businesses and I go to more businesses. I click that. And then I skip the first two because those are always sponsored posts. But then I jump right here, right? So the M in Lahar Homes, I will get their full name of the company and their phone number, right? And I typically like to put this in a Google Sheet or an Excel sheet or just something to keep the list organized. Try to have it electronically so you can constantly update it. Then you have KB Homes, right? There's going to be a lot of different builders here, literally pages and pages of builders. One thing I will kind of let you guys know to look out for is that you're going to find a lot of builders that say Honeydew by DR Horton, Sanford by DR Horton, right? You're going to find a lot of DR Horton companies, and you're probably going to be like, well, I already called one DR Horton company and they said they're not buying. This one won't be buying, right? That's the wrong mistake. You want to call every single home builder because all home builders have different objectives and all home builders have different land acquisition specialists. These are called divisions, right? There's different divisions within one market. So you'll see DR Horton several times, right? So make sure you guys have that down. One last little tip about home builders is avoid calling the custom home builders. You guys see how it says custom home builder here on Google? Sometimes they'll have it in their name, right? Avoid calling them. And the reason why I say not to call them and reach out like this one, custom homes, right? Is because a lot of custom home builders don't build or buy land. They don't buy land, right? They build on their clients' lots. So if I was going to build a custom home, I would reach out to this custom home builder and I would already have my lot in place for them to build on. Does this make sense? So try to avoid the custom home builders. You're going to hear them say, well, we don't buy land. We just build on our clients' lots. That's literally what they're going to say verbatim. All right. So yeah, that's just something to keep a lookout for. Let's keep going. Google's the best method for right now. Like I said, I have dozens of other ways that are even better. I found a lot of my hedge fund builders from other methods that are in my course in my pod, if you guys want to look into that. So let's talk about what to say when talking to home builders. Okay, so this is another thing you guys can screenshot, right? When you are calling a home builder, it's going to sound just like this. Thank you for calling DR Horton. This is Julie speaking. How may I direct your call? Or how may I help you? However they want to say it. Hey, Julie, this is Derby. I just had a quick question. Are you guys buying any vacant lots at the moment? Literally, just act like you're kind of confused and you're just trying to get put into the right direction. And then they will either tell you yes or they will tell you no. If they say no, make sure you document that and then reach back out to them later in the future. Okay. And then if they say yes, then you can say this. Okay, great. Do you have a land acquisition specialist who handles that? If so, what's their email address? Okay. Let's talk about that word, land acquisition specialist. Okay. Do you guys know what that is? The land acquisition specialist is hired by the builder to acquire land for the company to hit quota, right? So the home builders will hire a land acquisition specialist, typically a licensed real estate agent or a realtor who has a license and can go through and find land to fit the need of what is out there right now and what they need to fill the orders. Okay. So they do that by several things. They can be creative. That's the thing. The land acquisition specialist can kind of do whatever they want. They can send out direct mail. They don't cold call or text blast. That's against their policy. So they will send out direct mail. They will network with other agents. They'll go on the MLS. This is why I say we have to stay off market. I mean, stay off the on market deals. We do not touch on market deals because guess what? The land acquisition specialist can do that already, and they've seen a lot of those deals. Okay. So when you provide value to these land acquisition specialists, you're bringing them off market deals. Does this make sense? Okay. And by partnering with these land acquisition specialists, you're helping fill the order a lot faster. The best way to contact them is to get their email address. So I like to say, do you have a land acquisition specialist that handles that? If so, what's a good email for me to send over what I have? Okay. When you say send over what I have, I'm providing value at that point, right? And they're more inclined to give me that email address, get their name. Make sure you catch that receptionist's name because you want to send them an email and say, hey, John, Julie gave me your email and told me you guys are buying. Can you provide me your buying criteria? Okay. Through email is the best form of contact because they're very busy. Right, let's keep going. Let's talk about when it comes to home builders, it's important to hit numbers. Okay, it's important to hit numbers. This is not, I call one or two builders on Google a day and I have a land acquisition specialist. Absolutely not. It's all about building relationships and building rapport. So what does that mean? I need to hit numbers. So I need to contact, my rule of thumb is at least 50 builders a day in your market for at least 5 business days. Okay. Do more. And by calling those 50 builders a day, your goal is to obtain a minimum of 7 to 10 qualified builders in each of those markets. Right? So what is a qualified home builder? You guys know? Let's see if you guys know. What is a qualified home builder? They are tired of these calls, I ain't gonna lie. Oh, good. Rakita said she got called 100 builders. Yes, good job, guys. So a builder that can give you criteria, right? If they can just tell you 2 things, where they're buying and how much they're paying, you can go off to the moon and get these deals, right? But you could also do some research, see where they're buying. You can see what they purchased, right? You can see how much they paid for these lots. Maybe do some due diligence and some research to see, right? And then if you haven't got 7 to 10 qualified builders in that market, then you need to keep doing that and calling more builders until you've done that. All right, keep track of all the builders you spoke with. Let's keep going. Let's talk about how we can find land sellers virtually. I love the 3 different ways of marketing. Let's talk about that. Number 1, cold calling, right? Let's say I got the builder's criteria. I know where he's buying. I know how much they're paying. Now I need to hunt for those deals. How can I talk to those landowners? Number 1 is cold calling. What's the second one? What other marketing strategies can I find these sellers, right? Okay, texting. Good job. So text blasting. What's the last one? I wouldn't do email because sometimes those are, you could do ads. Okay, good job. Direct mail. Which one of the 3, let's see if you guys remember, which one of the 3 do builders already do? Correct. Good job, Anthony. Good job, Amanda. Good. So direct mail. This is already what builders are doing. So the 2 you can start targeting as a wholesaler is cold calling and an SMS blast. What's PPL? Pay per lead or something like that? Or pay per lead? I don't know. Oh yeah, pay per leads. Yeah. I don't really use that. I think Francisco was saying I should get into that more, but I haven't had to. So
Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's more quality leads. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, let's talk about PropWire because it's important to kind of note. And I've talked about this on my YouTube as far as being able to pull a list. Let's keep going. Let's use Palm Bay again. All right, actually, no, let's use Cape Coral. All right, so I type in Cape Coral and I click search. I don't put anything in lead types, okay? I don't touch that. For some reason, it kind of messes up a little bit, but I do property types and I do land. That gives me more results. And then I leave bed and bath alone, price, I leave that alone. I go to more. And this is called PropWire, y'all. This is a free website. Y'all can pull as many properties in the entire US as you want. It's 100% free. I love using PropWire. I just did a podcast episode with the owner of PropWire. His name is Jerry Norton, if you guys know him. This is a really good software. I do all of my leads. I pull them from here since last year. So it's been doing really good. So I do land and then I do lot size. Okay. Let's see if you guys know. Let's test your land skills. How many square feet are in 1 acre? Damn, Anthony, you killing it. You know this already. Come teach with me. Boom. Good job. 43,560. Okay, that's the number you should always remember. Um, if I'm looking for scattered infill lots, I don't want to be more than an acre. So I'm gonna do 43,560 is my max. Okay. If I have a builder that's like, Derby, I need 10 acres, and I'm gonna take 43,560 times it by 10, right? And that's gonna be my number. Let's keep going. Owner filters. I do individual and bank or trust. I don't care about if the bank owns it because 9 times out of 10, the bank don't even know how to analyze these types of deals. They think land is so valueless. So bank and trust, sweet spot. Individual, like husband and wife, single woman, single male. This is another beautiful thing. Business, if you're trying to find cash buyers for builders, then you can do business. But if you're just looking for sellers, individual and bank owned, okay? Years of ownership, pay attention. I want the seller to have at least owned the properties 3 years or more. Because if they just bought the property last year or 6 months ago, you think they're going to want to sell their land? No, right? You want to find motivated. So 3 years or more is a good sweet spot. And that's it. Save and close. And Cape Coral has 13,000 properties. Beautiful. So then what I would do is I'm going to click this button, select, oh, it has me do 10,000 at a time. Hold on, let me make sure I'm muting everybody. There we go. But you can pull all 10,000 and then pull the remaining 3,308. Okay. Make sure you create an account. It's free. And then once you're done with that, you're gonna it's gonna put it into an Excel sheet. And then you're going to do what? Once I get all those sellers, what am I gonna do after I get them? What am I gonna do to find their phone numbers? Good job. I'm going to then skip trace. Do you guys see the steps? Okay. Choose a strong market, find all the builders in that market, get all their buying criteria, pull a list for what they need and what they're looking for. Once I pull the list, I'm going to skip trace. When I skip trace it, it's going to give me match all those people to phone numbers. That costs money. You want to know a good skip tracing company that I use? I use Skip Matrix, which is damn near super accurate. Like these people got the same data as police officers. They're a little bit more pricey. It's 14 cents per person to skip trace. But don't worry, I got you on the cheaper side. Lead Mining Pros is the next one. 7 cents per lead. It's almost half off. But they're also really good data. Like I used them for almost a year. But they're 7 cents. Okay. So Lead Mining Pros and Skip Matrix. If you need a little bit of discount off, use the code LANDQUEEN. All capital, one word, LANDQUEEN. Let's keep going. Now that we've skip traced and got the phone numbers and we're texting them and we're talking to them, we now have to make offers. So what do I offer a seller? If a seller's like, yeah, I'm actually interested in selling, right? The builder's paying $50,000 and they're interested in selling. What do you offer? If the builder's paying $50,000, the seller is interested, they want an offer, what are you guys gonna offer them? Somebody said 40K. How much would you make if you offered 40K and your builder's paying 50? Okay, you guys are just good, but you want to know what I'm noticing about what you guys are saying? You're offering less than what your builder is paying. Do you see how you can control that a lot more when you offer less, right? You know how to work for your fee. Now, not in all cases, you're going to get a $10,000 spread. There's some instances where you got to make $2,000. The seller's like, you know what? I want 48,000. I'm not budging. What you going to do? You're going to let it go because I'm trying to make 10? Hell no, I'm going to take that $2,000 because that's $2,000 more than what I had, right? Take your $2,000. Don't be cheap. If it's $500, I'm taking $500 because I'm not going to let somebody else get $500 and I'm not. That's $500 to get my nails done, my hair done, all the things. Okay, I'm just saying. But offer less than what the builder is paying. That is it. There's no overly analyzing and doing all that extra stuff. No, if the deal makes sense, it's not, if it meets the builder's criteria, offer less than what the builder's paying. That's why my strategy is so amazing because it truly is very effortless. More than 3%. Okay. If you're a realtor, you're gonna make more than that. I've literally made more money than an agent on a transaction and it looked at me like, girl, goodbye. I did so much work to get this and you just made 10K and I walked away with 3% of nothing. Let's talk about the psychology and talking to sellers. Okay. Sellers is all human psychology. 100%. Okay. You need to know how to negotiate. If you do not know how to negotiate, you need to learn it. There's a book called The Negotiation Bible by Chris Haskins. Great book, by the way. 100% just recommend that you guys read it because it really teaches you psychology skills when talking to sellers. Okay. There's 5 tips I would recommend is avoid sounding anxious because a lot of times you're gonna have to get on a call with them. Okay. If you sound like you're uncertain, you don't know what you're doing, they're gonna smell that. Number 2, always point out the key benefits of working with you with your company, right? You're gonna pay closing costs. Okay, put this down. You're gonna pay all closing costs, you're gonna pay cash, and you're going to close quickly. These are 3 things all builders pretty much bring to the table. They pay cash, they close quickly, and they cover all the closing costs. Those are the 3 key benefits. A lot of people don't want to list their properties because it's going to take too long to sell. They don't want to pay a realtor's commission, all that stuff. Those are my key benefits. You want to always choose the, I'm not quite sure, Mr. Seller, but let me speak to my partner and get back with you. That is the best excuse ever. If you don't know nothing, throw it on your partner. You never want to be the decision maker in your transactions because that's when they hound you. Okay. You always want to say, I'm not quite sure, but let me speak with my partner. This is going to give you time to deliberate and figure out what you got to say back to them. Okay. It's called The Negotiation Bible by Chris Haskins. You always want to be professional. Okay. Don't be cussing those sellers out. People do that all the time. You can't cuss them out because they called you and your mama all these names. Don't do it. Be professional. People can backtrack who you are and who's texting and who's calling now, and you can get sued big time. So please be professional. Okay. I'm talking from experience. And then also create an experience for your seller. You want to separate yourself from the seller. You want to separate yourself from other wholesalers, right? All wholesalers right now are all in this money focus, right? No, take the time to make your business an experience. Send them a $50 gift card to Starbucks for coffee if they write you a five-star review on Google, right? Just little things to make them have an experience. Maybe send them weekly emails, send them weekly texts. Hey, just want to let you know that the property's in underwriting. We're analyzing the deal right now. Hey, I just want to let you know that we're about a week away from closing. Create the experience. Okay. And then last but not least is put people first and numbers second. The worst thing ever is when you're talking to a seller and it's just like they're trying to clearly talk to you about why they purchased the property and all these things, and you're just like throwing out numbers. Like it's so ghetto. Don't do that. Focus on the people first. Okay, let's keep going. Contracts and title companies. All right. I don't really go too in depth with this. The only thing I tell you guys is that builders typically own their own title companies, so you don't really need to have any. Okay. And then number 2 is contracts. I have all of them. If you need a contract, I have a package of contracts available to anybody who wants it. Rena, are you on right now? My VA is on probably. Rena, can you drop the contracts link in the chat? So if anybody wants to purchase a package of contracts, I have that for you guys if you want it. It's $47. I have all the contracts for whatever you need. I would recommend having a PDF editor that can edit the contracts, an electronic signature to sign those contracts virtually. And then last but not least, you need to know the verbiage. Okay. And like I said, I dive more into this into my course, but let's talk about my SOPs. Who's a numbers person? Put a 1 in the chat. Where are my number people at? And we're almost done, by the way. Where are my numbers people at? I don't know about you guys, but once I see numbers, it's over. That's all I need to see. Okay. So last month in September, I closed 9 land deals in the month of September. 9. Rena, make sure you drop the contracts link a couple times for people real quick. Okay. So yeah, I closed 9 deals last month in the month of September. Like I said, my VA runs the business now and is closing deals for us. Let's keep going. In order for me to close 9 land deals, I contacted, not me, my VA did the text blasting. We text blasted 6,212 sellers in different markets. Okay. Out of those 6,212 sellers, only 59 of them were interested in selling. You guys see how that number just drops? I go from 6,200 people that I texted, 59 of them were actually like showing actual interest. I got a bunch of people who cussed me out, right? And I don't care about them because I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for the interest. So 59 of them were interested. Out of those 59 people that were interested in selling, okay, only 11 of them were interested in signing a contract. Okay, do you see how all these numbers just like, it's like you're dropping money into a funnel and then it literally comes out with a small number, right? So out of those 59 people that were interested in selling, 11 of them signed a contract. Were actually about that life and was like, you know what, I'm gonna sign a contract. Now, out of those 11 contracts, not all of them closed, y'all. 9 of them did. Only 9 of them closed out of that 11. And let me tell you the reasons why. So the reasons why they didn't close is because the first one is funny. My seller did not tell her husband that she was selling their property. And when it came time to do the closing documents, he was like, what the hell? I'm not signing this. And she's like, just sign it. He was not trying to sign them. He's like, I'm not selling the land. She was trying to sell it behind his back. So she had signed his initials and signature on the contract we had. But when closing documents need to notarize and finalize that stamp, he was not going for it. And then the second one, you know how women are, we just be ready to do some emotional stuff. And then wetlands was on the other property, so we couldn't close on it. Okay. But do you guys see how the numbers are? This is a numbers game. Do y'all see how many times I heard the word no? 6,000 plus times I heard the word no. Do you think that discouraged me? Hell no. Because guess how much we made with this? Over $80,000. So yeah, absolutely. I'm going to continue hearing the word no for $80,000 a month. Okay. So this is why I say it's really, really important to hit numbers. I have students who will be like, oh my gosh, Derby, I'm texting all these people. I'm not getting any responses. I'm like, how many you texted? 200. What the hell is 200 going to do? The more people you talk to, the more chances you have of getting those yeses. Now, the remaining people that did not sign, the ones that had interest, those are going to be my savings accounts. I'm going to follow up with them later in the year and close them out later. All right, CRM. Remember I told you I text blasted? I use a CRM. The CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management Tool, right? I use Flow Fusion. So, Raina, can you drop the Flow Fusion link in the chat too? So what is Flow Fusion? It's a CRM that allows you to do so many different things. It's an all-in-one CRM. You can text blast, you can email, you can cold call, you can do literally everything. Set up automations to do things for you, schedule text messages to go out. Very automated, very demure, very mindful, very classy, all of that. I'll show you guys a glimpse of it. One thing I love about the Flow Fusion CRM is that it's not backed by Twilio. Who knows about Twilio? Put a one in the chat. They've been trying to ruin everybody's lives out here. Put a one in the chat if you know about Twilio. So Twilio, if you guys know like the huge companies like Fashion Nova and like just huge brands that send out text messages for coupon codes and things like that. Well, guess what? In order to send out mass messaging, you have to be almost registered or licensed to do that. And Twilio is the people that provide that licensing or that registration to do that, right? But guess what? They hate us wholesalers because they do not allow you to buy a list and text them. It's considered like illegal, right? No, Rena, not that link, the one I put in Slack. So Twilio right now hates us. So I don't use any CRM backed by Twilio. That's REI Reply, REI Cash, all that stuff. I don't use that because I need to send out messages without getting blocked freely. I need to make my money. Don't stop me from making my money. If you stop me, I'm moving. So Twilio is not backed, or sorry, Flow Fusion is not backed by Twilio. I should say, reverse it. But they use oh my God, what is it called? Text Grid.
Thanks, Chris. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
sorry, I lost it. So they use text grid. I'll give you guys a little, do you want me to show you guys a little CRM? Hold on, let me see if I can show you guys real quick. Let me go into my CRM. All right, so here's my CRM. Let me see which account I'm on. Just land. Let's see some conversations. I haven't even been here. I'm just going to show you guys some stuff. Let's see what my VA has been locking up and negotiating. All right. So here's one right here. This seller, this is automated, by the way. This is my VA sending this out. Hello, Roseanne, whatever, Angela. My name, I'm Melissa. Are you available to discuss your vacant land at blah, blah, blah? She didn't respond, so the system automatically sends her a follow-up message. She says yes. I don't know why I never got back to her, but you know, this is stuff my VA has to like start paying attention to these little details, right? So my builder increased pricing, so we sent out a mass message to people. We said, we're paying 63,000. Oh wait, no, this is the same day. We said we're paying 63,000 plus closing costs in that area. If you're ready, please let me know. Okay. We sent that maybe like 20 minutes after, and she didn't reply. So then we did a follow-up message that went out and we said, good morning, I'm a home builder building homes for families moving to Florida. I have about 6 more families needing lots for their new builds. Okay, I try to do a number because I want to create a sense of urgency. And I said, if you're ready, we're at 60. And there's, by the way, if you look at this message, you're probably like, Derby, this is not really all that clean and professional. But when you are text blasting, there's certain words you cannot say because if you do, they kind of flag it. So I'm very choosy with my words. If you want that list of words to avoid, it's actually in the link in my bio on Instagram. Okay. And that's free. Let me make sure I mute Francisco here. Okay. So I say, if you're ready, we're at $68,500 plus closing costs. Closing is 11/15, 10-day inspection. Let me know. She said, good morning. We're looking at 70,000 minimum plus closing. Any additional legal fees, we're ready to sell. Let me see what I can do. I think my builder was at 72. And then I said, okay, we can make it work at 70,000. Is your mailing address still in New Jersey? We can do a remote closing to make it easier. Let us know if you need a mobile notary. What's a good email address to send the agreement to? Boom, she sent the email. I said, okay, thank you. And then, oh yeah, this one, I think we passed on it. My VA said, good morning, Angela. Sorry to tell you that the property is in an undesirable area for our families that want to purchase. We will let you know if anything changes. She said, okay. All right. But do you guys see, like, we're just sending out mass messaging and getting these email addresses and locking them up. Okay. Do you guys see that? How we're doing this? I hope this makes a little bit more sense, but this is all automated things that your virtual assistant, this is stuff that you guys can do on the back end. Okay. Now let's finalize this training tonight. I do have a special offer. Rena, if you can drop that link to the course that I have put in Slack for you. If you guys are interested in learning more about wholesaling land and taking action, I do have a special offer up until I want to say Friday is our last day that we're ending or maybe I think it's Sunday, I can't remember. But we are now including my land pod accelerator within my course now. So I'm going to show you a glimpse of what that looks like. But it does have all the replays to the Wholesaling Land Accelerator mentorship. Oops. It also has 10 plus hours of training videos, the CRM setup, all of that, the workflows that I use. It has how to find all the different types of builders, the best ways to find sellers, how to fill out contracts, literally everything with lifetime access for $4.99. All right. This is something new that I have never launched before. So I know it's going to be definitely very valuable. I've never dropped the pricing this low before. And my team always gets on me about doing it. But here is the link. And like I said, it is $4.99. There is an opportunity to actually work with me more one-on-one. And that's by being able to submit homework and get additional support calls. Okay, you can do a weekly call with me. There's more options to do more in depth if you need to. But yeah, this is more of you kind of go with the course, you submit homework, tell me what markets you're going to be in. I'll give you feedback on it. Tell me what builders you're going to be. I'll give you feedback on it. It's more guidance in the sense. And this is $9.99 if you add the homework. But if not, It's just $4.99. Now, I do have a special, like I said, offer for the time being. And then for anybody who signs up, for the first 10 people, let's do the first 10 people. The first 10 people who sign up, I will be doing a one-on-one call. I'll include one-on-one calls. I'll say 5 one-on-one calls with this deal. Okay. So that means you're going to be able to go through the course, watch all the training videos, and I'll give you a glimpse of what that looks like. And then you'll get 5 additional one-on-one calls with me. So I can really guide you and to see success. Okay. Also, if you add on the homework submission, at the end of the course, you have the opportunity to jump into my support group and you'll be grandfathered into that. I'm going to just show you guys so you can see. All right. So this is the course. All right. So I really, and it's going to look a little different on you guys' side. So this is the wholesaling land course. As you guys can see, teacher, super teacher. I break everything down super Barney style. As far as from like how to find sellers. These are like 1 hour call videos, text blasting, Twilio, how to scale your business, how to set up your CRM, how to add the workflows, automations, triggers. These are hour-long videos. Okay. And then I also have the land pod lessons here, and it'll all be broken down for you guys to go in and watch. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? You guys can raise your hand or put your question in the chat. And how did you guys like this training call? No BS, right? It's all 100% education. How did you guys enjoy it? I love feedback, by the way. Let me share my screen again so you guys can see. Do I still cold call? No, barely. If I have to like put out a fire or something, I will. But my company will, yeah, my VAs do. Okay. Let's see, any other questions? Let's see. How long will the sale last? I believe it's this Sunday. This Sunday. Thank you guys. I appreciate the flames and everything. Oh, okay. No worries, love. She said she was doing nails. I hired a VA. You can get them off of onlinejobs.ph, and I just put out an ad. Okay. That's like people from the Philippines. The skip tracing website is Lead Mining Pros and Skip Matrix. I do offer payment plans. Somebody asked about payment plans for the $4.99. If you want to split your payments into 2, just send me a message on either my networks, Instagram, email me. I do have my number on everything. You guys can text me. Just send me your full name and email, and I can split the payments in 2, like $250 now, $250 in a couple weeks. Just let me know. I do have that option as well. Thank you, Anne. I use to cold call and text blast. I use
for a vendor now. I just came from a partner's guy.
Oops, I use Flow Fusion. Okay, I'm gonna drop it again for you. Ramel, he asked, how can we work with you? I just put it in the chat. Just send me a message if anybody's interested in learning more and like getting started and really getting their hand held, or just needs to be able to go through the course and go through all the training videos and kind of do it on their own. Just send me a message. I can pretty much customize anything for you guys. I do in the group. Yeah. In the course, Justin, I have a video of text grid and how that whole setup process works, but it's pretty much through the CRM.
Yeah, and real quick, just to also clarify, you don't necessarily use TextGrid as an independent platform. You integrate it with your CRM first, and then you use it. So just a heads up, because there has been people that try to sign up for TextGrid thinking that they could do everything on TextGrid. Test Grid is an integration tool. It's not a standalone product for, for you to use. You don't upload your contacts or send any messages from Text Grid. You connect your Text Grid account to your CRM or Flow Fusion, and that's how you're able to send out messages. Just heads up.
Yes. And somebody asked about JV deals. So I do deals with my students all the time. Like you guys can close deals with me and my students. That's how a lot of people found me, is me posting checks with my students. I do JV deals with people who are fully trained by me. So if you add on the homework and all that, I'm able to actually give you feedback and send you all the training videos on the different markets, how to analyze the deals in those markets. You can then JV with me. I have literally dozens of builders, dozens of markets of builders needing lots. So yes. Okay. Oh, free program for texting and cold calling. There's very, very rarely any. I'm going to tell you guys that now, just because everything now is super, super regulated. You're not able to just kind of freely message the way you want to. Okay, everything is regulated now. You can probably use your phone, but you're at risk of getting sued. That's why I say have an LLC, because they're not going to come after you. They're going to come after that LLC. For those who are still doing a W-2 job, do you think it's effective to text blast only? Yeah, absolutely. Because the thing is about texting is you can tailor it and, customize when the messages go out to fit your work schedule, which is really nice.
If you get an AI bot, you definitely can.
And we're having an AI training next week. I'm so excited. I'm going to show you guys how we've been able to use AI to close our land deals for us through Flow Fusion. So that's going to be an interesting call. I think that's next Tuesday or Monday. I can't remember, but you'll see it on my page when I post about it. It'll be on YouTube, Tyrone. Everything will be on YouTube. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and drop this link one more time and I'll send it out through text and email. But if anybody has any questions or needs anything, you guys can send me a message on Instagram or my networks, or you can text me and I'll put my number in the chat. Okay, it's literally my iPhone. Like you could text me. All right, guys, have a great night and thank you for joining the Wholesaling Land Training. Bye, guys. Thanks, Francisco.